Hi, welcome to the Gamble Plantation at Ellenton Park, Florida. I'm here with Terry and Tracy, who are two paranormal investigators with their company ESP. So we're here to talk to them and interview them and ask them about their experiences. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Well, my name is Terry, and ESP, Explorers of Spirit Phenomenon. We started back in 2009. It was started by Dr. John Head, who's a local physician in Bradenton, and myself, Terry Rohde. And we have always had interest in the paranormal, so we started our own team so that we could go out and explore it on our own.
That's so great. So how did you guys end up becoming a team together, the two of you?
2 years, 2.5 years ago, I went to lunch with Terry. We've known each other for a long time. We worked together for many years, and she showed me a video of a cat, a ghost cat, and I was hooked. The next time they went out on an investigation, she invited me to go, and I've been going to everyone ever since. So
that's so good. So what made you guys want to become paranormal investigators?
I don't even know if it's like we sat down and consciously went, ooh, we want to become paranormal investigators. I think it was more, I really think for both of us, a calling that we felt since we were children. And I think we've always been very connected to the spirit community, the spirit realm, and for different reasons. For me, I lost my father when I was 8. And I think when you suffer a loss very young, you question, well, how did that happen? Why did that happen? Where did he go? Is he okay? So I think that's what first got me involved, but also my family heritage, because I think it's in your genes. My great-grandmother was a tarot card reader and a snake charmer from back in the Carney days. My grandmother ran Carney's, and they both retired to Gibsonton, Florida. And so I feel like that's kind of in my blood.
my first time I had an experience, I saw an apparition when I was 6. There was a woman in my bedroom, and she was watching me sleep. I woke up. She smiled at me. I was 6. I was not happy. I screamed. I woke everybody up. I guess I left the room, and I did not sleep in my room for at least a month. I slept with my brother. And I had an experience again when I was 19 that made me shut it all down, because it was a very cool experience, but what happened after that kind of scared me. There was a couple more things that happened, and I was like, no more paranormal for me, cut it off. And so I just went about my life blocking out as much as I could until I sat in a bar with Terry one day, and she showed me a ghost cat.
Ghost cat!
And you know, and
I got to go back to this.
It's so funny too, because we both went through that period where we blocked. And for me, it happened when we were teaching together. We were teaching together at Onico Elementary.
I was there!
Oh my gosh! Yes, when I was teaching at Onico, I guess it was a high point, or as far as my dreams. I used to have a lot of dreams, and dreams that would materialize or that would seem to be truthful, I guess you could say. I don't know what you would call it, but a friend of mine, I won't say her name in case she doesn't want to be recognized, but a friend of mine that I was teaching next door to, that was a 4th grade teacher, I came in one day after having a dream about her, and she was crying. And so I told her that I had had this dream, and at the time, I'm going to say she was probably late 40s, early 50s maybe. Mm-hmm. And I told her I dreamt that she was pregnant. And haha, isn't that so funny? And she told me that the reason she was crying is because her daughter had just found out that she was pregnant and she was going to drop out of college. And so that's why she was crying. And it just hit me really hard. And then we had a really crazy connection back then too, where my mother had been diagnosed with lung cancer and had been put into hospice house at the very end of her life. Room 3, never forget it. And she passed in room 3 of hospice house. And then couple years later,
My grandmother.
her grandmother ended up in hospice house. And hospice house had grown since when my mom was there. It had more rooms. And yet her grandmother was put in room 3 of hospice house. And I woke up having a dream about her grandmother, who I knew of, but I didn't know well. Like, it wasn't somebody I would dream of. And as soon as I didn't even get the words out of my mouth that I had had a dream about her, she was on the phone with her mother, because she was like, oh my God, she must have died when you have dreams, you know. And
I don't know.
The dream itself, though, tell the dream.
And the dream was so odd. I had dreamt that we had gone to see her at hospice house, and we went in to talk to her, and we were going to give her comfort. But instead, she was giving us comfort back by saying, don't worry about me. My angel's here with me. Don't you see my angel? And we were like, she's obviously hallucinating or something. We're like, no, we don't see your angel. And she said, yes, he's right there. You see the little boy at the side of the bed? That's my angel. And he's come to take me, and it's okay. And I'm going to be fine. And so when I woke up and told her about this dream and about the little boy, of course, she thought that meant that and she was worried too, that her grandma might pass. She called
My mother, and I told her the dream. Mom said, no, she's still alive. And I said, well, it's really odd that she dreamt about a little boy. And my mother says, well, your grandmother had a baby brother who died when he was 5. Yeah. And I was like, oh, never knew that. And then she did pass within 2 days after that. But I looked up that picture years later, and it was just, I found a picture of her with her little brother, and it was
the same boy I'd seen in my dream.
Yeah, it was uncanny. It was just really weird.
So it was kind of after that, and people at school started saying to me, please don't dream about me.
Don't.
And I didn't want to be like that person. I didn't want to know bad things. I didn't want to know sad things. And so I shut it down, just like she did. And I was like, okay, no more dreams. I don't want them. And we've spent the last couple years trying to open up again.
Yeah.
And trying to say it's okay.
Have you guys have any interesting stories in particular for paranormal investigation you guys want to share?
Well, I want to talk about the first investigation I ever went on with Terry. And we went to the Seven Sisters Inn, which is a bed and breakfast in Ocala. An amazing place, beautiful
Gorgeous.
place. And within 30 minutes of getting there, we were upstairs in the Egyptian room, because all the rooms were themed, and we were setting up the equipment, and I was just looking out in the hallway, and I saw Doc walk by, and I yelled to him. Doc's the other member of our team, and I said, hey Doc, we're in here. And he didn't respond, so I walked to the doorway and I looked down the hall, and there was nobody there. And I was kind of puzzled, and I was like, did anybody just see that? Where did he go? And they were like, Doc's downstairs. And I was like, no, he just walked by. So within 30 minutes I saw a shadow figure, what they call a shadow figure. It was all black, dressed in black. Doc had been dressed in black. So within 30 minutes on our first investigation, I had an experience, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And we had a group experience at Rolling Hills Asylum in New York when a mist came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, at the end of the night.
Yeah, it was crazy. There was like 8 of us watching this mist roll in, and we had a laser grid set up so you could see it very clearly. And Terry walked to the edge of the grid. The laser grid is like pinpoints the green light, and you could see this mist just swirling in. It was white, and she stood on the edge, and as she's standing there, the beam of light shifted.
So it was straight on me.
That is
That
pretty
was-
mystical.
Well, considering that it wasn't just one person
No.
or 2 people that
No.
saw it, there was a whole group of us that witnessed it and experienced it. And we were just like, wow, what is, I mean, there was no explanation for it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Oh my god.
And we didn't get it on camera. We tried,
Yeah.
but we didn't. And so a lot of times people will say to us, well, where's your evidence? show me.
Show me the
And
contacts.
Yeah.
and we always say, though there are things we can show you, there are things we can let you listen to. Until you have that experience yourself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we show you. It doesn't matter what we play for you. It doesn't matter what we tell you.
Yeah.
We're not here to convince you. You know, until you have that experience, then you don't need convincing anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Well, now that it's set out, tell us a little bit more about all the equipment we have surrounding.
Okay. Well, this is our 3-in-1, our EDI meter that I told you about. Now this
Oh
is
yeah,
the
well, I
vibration.
see it going off.
Okay, that means there's vibration, which obviously if I'm not doing that, there'd be no reason for it to be going off. And then this is a REM pod that looks different than most because it's missing 2 of its little.
Yeah, it's
Light.
been through a lot.
It's had a rough life. This REM pod has been knocked over, knocked down, not by me.
Ooh, ghosts.
Yeah, we have this one place that we investigate. It's a ghost town in the Ocala National Forest. There's some weird stuff that goes on there. And it was knocked off of a mantle and broken. No one was around it. We were around it, but we didn't touch it.
Yeah.
So it still works, even with its 2 little pretty things missing. So if you turn it on, you can still see that they light up, even though their little dimples aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
But Petey is just a little trigger object. He's really cute. And
not on.
he's not on, but if you turn him on, he has these little lights on his collar. And if you touch him, they light up and they make noise. And so he's fun to put out and try to see if you can attract anything near him. So what we usually use PD for is to put him in a room that we're not in and then listen to see if we hear him going off, because there'd be no reason for it if there's no one in the room. We also use a lot of old school stuff too. We have baby powder, which you can put baby powder down, and if you're not around the baby powder, but all of a sudden you see steps or shift in the baby powder, could mean something. We have dowsing rods, which a lot of people call divining rods, and we also use something called collective consciousness, and that's when a group of people, and it could be any people, they don't have to be psychics, they don't have to be sensitives, just a group of people are together in a location, and you're all focusing on that location, on what's happening around you, and you get very quiet and you kind of go into like a deep meditative state. And then from that, we try to bring out what's actually happening in the location through those of us that are there. And we've had a lot of success with that.
Yes, we have.
All right. So, what places have stuck out to you the most?
The most, I have to go to a place in Florida, in Brooksville, Florida, little tiny hidden town. It's called the May Stringer House. It is an active museum, so you can actually go there. And it, out of every place that we've traveled to, that I've traveled to at least for, I don't know how many years, since 2009, it is the one place that I would point to and definitely say beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's a lot going on there, and yes, it's haunted. It's definitely haunted. You're gonna get activity there. I'm not gonna say every time you go there because there's no such thing, but it's got a lot of activity. It's probably one of the most active places I've ever seen. We enjoy it so much. I can't tell you how many times we've been there, how many hours we've spent investigating that place. Lots of spirits there, children, adults, grumpy people. Nothing demonic. Nothing demonic. People always ask that. What about the demons? I don't know any. I haven't met any. I haven't met any demons.
We have not come across any demons at this point. Not to say that
they don't exist, right?
Or that we may
may happen.
One in the future. I prefer not to encounter.
Would rather not.
Yeah,
I'd rather not.
Say that too.
Prefer, yeah.
We really try to open ourselves up to what's good and what's light, and We don't ask for that. So,
Yes.
but besides that, St. Albans.
St. Albans in Virginia.
Radford, Virginia. Awesome old mental institution.
Always the
Always
asylums.
good,
Yeah,
good
I love
stuff
the
in the asylums.
Hospitals are
Yeah.
really interesting places to.
Yeah, and it's got the creep factor. I would hate to go through life thinking that this was all there is. I mean, not that this isn't good, but
We
there's
got
so
it pretty
much
good
more.
up here.
Yeah, but there's more. There's so much more. And I think I can say to this point that I do feel better about what's next, because there's more. There's absolutely more. There's more. And I think that one of the things that, if it was ever possible to do, if we could ever bridge that gap between the spirit world and the living world, that would just be amazing.
I think a lot of people would find closure, for sure. So do you feel the same way?
Oh yes, yeah.
There's got to be more.
More.
There is more.
There's more.
I know. I feel
I
it.
feel it.
I've had too many experiences to not believe that
Yeah.
there's more.
I think that's great. I can definitely relate to that too, a little bit with my experiences in my family too. So last question, what do you guys say to the skeptics of the world?
Come on to investigation with us.
Yes. Calm down.
Because absolutely, we, to coin someone else's words, these are not my words, but to coin the words of Brian Cano, we are skeptical believers. We wholeheartedly believe, but we question everything. We never peg anything as being paranormal until we've ruled out every normal occurrence that could possibly cause that to happen. And then we look at each other and go, well, maybe there's more to it. But I think you need to be a little bit skeptic. I think if you're doing what we do and you're not skeptical, then you're not going to be as effective of an investigator. So come on,
So
check
come
out
on down.
Yeah.
Check out their website. What is the website?
espexplorers.com. Very easy to remember. And our Facebook page is, you just Google ESP Explorers. It's Explorers of Spirit Phenomena, but you don't need the whole word. If you just Google ESP Explorers, it'll pop up on Facebook. Like us, follow us.
We have a YouTube
do?
channel as well. We
Yes.
we don't
I'll
have a lot
definitely
of
be checking
videos
that out.
up, but we are working on getting more videos up.
We do a lot of live feeds through my personal Facebook page. We usually share them on our ESP page, but we usually do them through my personal page, which is Terry Rohde. If you just Google Terry Rohde, ROHDE. We're going to be doing them all summer. We're going to be live all summer. They nickname us. They call us Thelma and Louise, the Thelma and Louise of the paranormal. Yeah, we've got a bunch of cute little nicknames.
Yes.
Well, I can definitely appreciate it. Well, thank you, Terry and Tracy.
Thanks for having us.
So go check them out on their website. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that.
Oh, we've
social
got it all.
media.
Yep.
So thank you so much, and goodbye from Gamble Plantation at Ellington, Florida.
Bye.